In this video, I'm going to explain and show you how to create change orders in Red Rhino software. Now, we're on the home page right now. You see the change order panel down here on the left. Let me get my cursor in the right place here. There we go. You see change order here. We're not going to create a change order from there because this is just a menu that allows you to view them. Let me just open it. I'll click on change order. See how it says list change orders for job number? So you have to know the job number to put it in here and to list them, and we're going to create a new one. Or you can create a new change order for the job number, and you can put the job number in here. But I'm going to do something different. I'm just going to go to the job that I created and create a change order from there. So in that case, I'll click on Job Project Management Panel, and I'll click List Jobs, and you'll see that I've created one job in here to use as example. So, okay, it's called Water District, okay? So I've created other videos on this. I'm going to open the job called Water District. Now, again, this lesson is on change orders. Now, they're also called RCO, which is request for change order, okay? So that said, at the top here's a button that says change orders, okay? I'm gonna click on it. Now, if I had change orders listed in here, they would be listed down here in a list format down in this list, but since I don't have one, I'm gonna click new to create one. Now, when I do that, let's click on new button to create a new change order. I want to explain something. The best way to do this, besides watching these videos, is to use the help tool in Red Rhino. So I'm in the change order menu right now, if you will, to create a change order, and I'm going to explain this to you, but I'm going to click on help here. This is how you want to get help for almost anything in Red Rhino. I'll click on help and see how it's intuitive that it goes to the change order menu here. It tells you how to modify, print, or delete, keep the change order updated, and so on. So here's your instructions. And then down here are what's called field definitions. If I click on that, it takes me down and it explains what these fields are, these things that you fill out here called fields, okay? So that said, use the help feature all that you can, okay, to get through this. Now this seems quite complex, but when you've done it a few times, it's second nature. Let me explain further. I'm going to create a change order, but then I'm going to have to create the estimate and the proposal for the change order, okay? This portion of the video, I might just cover creating the change order, but then I'll want an estimate to attach to it. So let's say that you're on a commercial job or any job for that matter, and you already have a job and you're already working on the job, but then they want you to make changes, okay? You would create what's called change orders for that job, come up with a number to give your customer, and then if they approve it, you would do the work, okay? So when I clicked on this job for the change order, created this job, let me say it this way. When I created the change order for this job, it populated all the job information in here. Now, just working from the top down, anything, I've said this before several times, anything with an asterisk requires something to be populated. Now, this already populates auto, so it's automatically going to put a change order number in there for us. Look at the change order name, says Water District. Now, I can add to this, okay? I'm naming this change order. I'm going to name it RCO1. Let me try it again. RCO1, or I could put RCO number 1. And then it would be clear to me this is the Water District with request for change order number 1, okay? Now, it shows the change order description. It actually pulled this from the job description, okay? Now, my change order description could be much different. You'd want to name this or change the name of this to whatever fits the change order that you're doing. Let's say that they want me to add another water pump. So I'm just going to type in a description here, you'll see it. Add power for additional 50 horsepower water pump. Okay, so I just changed the description there. Now, if you're doing a commercial job, it might be just to simply add additional light fixtures or or change wiring in one of the rooms. You want to put a description here so it's clear to you and your customer what it is they're doing. Now there's two kinds of change orders. See this change order type? There's a drop down here. Now I'm going to create a contract one, but you could also create one time and material. So obviously this video is going to cover a contract. In other words, we're going to give them a set amount. Now, if I wanted to write in a not to exceed number, I could do that. You have to be very careful with that, because if you go do an estimate for 25,000 and you set the not to exceed at 20,000, then you know you're kind of screwed. So if you elect to do the not to exceed, maybe you do that later, not now, because now we don't even know what price this is going to come up with, okay? So I'll show you more on that. Again, we're going to go in and create a change order estimate. So again, we're just creating the change order initially now. Now look, the customer PO number, this populated also from when I created the job. Okay, customer AWA, that stands for additional work authorization. So if they give you a number for the additional work authorizations, you'd want to put that number here, because that would go back and be shown to the customer when you present this change order. Okay, the RCO number, the request for change order number, is going to be auto-populated again. Now, if you want to type in the salesperson, your name, or whoever sold this job or is selling this job, you put it here. The originator is going to be you, the person using Red Rhino, whoever's name is in admin for your Red Rhino. It happens to be me on mine. If I wanted to put in the estimator's name, or if I knew the electrician that was going to do it, which I wouldn't know that yet, I might put all that in here. But it also has you pick a project manager. It's required. Now, if you have several Rhino users, they'll list them all here, and you could just pick one. In this case, it's only me and my Rhino. Now, the AWA status means the work order status is pending. Now, if I submitted this price and got it approved, there's another place where I would set it at approved. But for now, it's just pending because I haven't gotten approval for it yet. Okay, and it says AWA number is going to auto-populate. Now, if I know the job site phone number, I type that in here, and the job site fax also. And then I'm kind of flying through this, I know, but again, this is information that populated from the actual job. When I created the job, it said who the customer was. Now I picked a fake customer in here for an example, the customer's billing information and billing contact information. This again populates from the job. If it's different for the change order, you would go change that information, okay? Now next it says customer job site dropship information. Again, this populated from the job. Okay, and then further down here, all this stuff, lender, owner, general contractor, this all populated from the job, meaning when I filled out when I created the job, this is information that populated from there. Vendor information, all this populated from the job. Now I'm going to explain something. There's no financial information in this request for quote, or I should say for this change order, request for change order, RCO. There's no financial information in here because we haven't created an estimate for it yet. So when we create an estimate, it's going to populate this information in here, okay? And then I set up the change order defaults on my job. So when I create an estimate, the billing rate will be 75, the overhead is 10, the profit will be 15. And again, these are defaults I set up in the job so that when I create the change order or the time and material defaults, those are going to populate. So that's enough about this. I literally, after this, just click save, okay, after I'm done. Now, if I mess something up or forgot to populate something that's required, it's going to tell me so. Let me click save. Okay, now I've created a request for change order or a change order number. See how it auto-populated 7001-1? That's the change order number. And I've named it RCO number 1 there. See that? It put my description in here and it created a change order. Now, we haven't created an estimate for it yet. We're going to do that next. We're going to go into this change order right where we're sitting, and we're going to create an estimate. Now, just to make it easy on myself, I'm going to actually just copy this information right here, change order description. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go create an estimate. Now let's click on it. It'll give us some choices. So when I click on it, it's a drop down, and it doesn't give me a choice. It's just change order estimate. Okay, so I'll click on it. Okay, and then it automatically populates the name. Now I'm going to change it. Like I said, I copied that information. I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to put the same information in the description. If you want to make it different, you can. If I want to fill out the square footage, the bid date, bid time, if I want to set up the defaults for conduit fittings, which I will do now, I'm going to set it up for set screw steel. Again, this is just like the estimate menu in Red Rhino. I'm going to save it. And next, what I would do is I would create sections for this estimate, and I would finish the estimate, and then I would create a proposal for this estimate. Now I'm going to show you the end result of that, and I'm not going to show you everything on how to do that. I'm going to kind of show you the end result. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go in here and finish this estimate, and I'm going to finish the proposal just to show you how everything's attached. Okay. Again, we went into a job and we created a change order, and now we're creating an estimate in that change order. We're going to create a proposal to send to the customer for the change order. Okay, again, when I come back on the video, you'll see what I mean. Let me just highlight that I went and I input the materials for this change order in this change order estimate, just like you normally would on any estimate. Now, let me just blow this up a little bit. Let me see if I can make it bigger here. That doesn't seem to be working. Hold on a second. Nope. I was hoping I could blow it up, but maybe you can read this. Look, just a quick overview. I put in a 100 amp disconnect. I put in some wire terminations here. Here I put in, using the conduit wizard, I put in 1.25" conduit to feed the motor. I put in a motor connection assembly. And again, the purpose of this is to just estimate what is required to do the change order work. Okay, next I would actually just go to the recap. I'd make sure it was set up like I want. Okay, click on the recap. Now I'm going to leave this as is, but because I set this up when I created the job, but this is the recap for the change order. If I scroll down to the bottom here, it's going to show me the dollars that I'll do the job for here, 5,613. And a recap shows me everything a normal recap does. It shows me the total material here. It shows me the number of hours I have in the change order, 35.97, and so on. Now, if I wanted to add expenses to this job, I would do the same thing. Let's say that I have to rent a man lift. I would put the expenses for a man lift in here just like I would for a normal estimate. I'm going to go into expenses. In the recap here, I'm going to click on this underline 0, and I'm just going to go put in for a man lift. Let's say I have to rent a man lift to feed this pump. Here it is, they're alphabetized. I'm just going to go put in $225 for a man lift. Then I'll go up here and save and close that. And then when it flashes here, we'll see that it adds the $225 for the expense. So anything that's quoted material, again, it's just like you're working with a normal estimate. Now, next I would go on and actually create a proposal for this change order. And I'm going to do that now. I'm going to pause the recording and I'll just show you the end result. Again, I'm going to throw together a quick and down and dirty proposal just as an example for this change order. And just to get started, I mean, I would click on Proposal RCO here to get started, to create a proposal for this. And I'm just going to, again, I'll pause the recording, come back when it's done.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, now I went and created the proposal, and I've elected to go ahead and show you a little bit more here. Again, this is a proposal for the change order that I'm creating, and we want to put the project name here. Now, this is actually I want to name this proposal so it's clear this is a change order. So okay, now I went and created the proposal, and I've elected to go ahead and show you a little bit more here. Again, this is this is a proposal for the change order that I'm creating, and we want to put the project name here. Now, this is actually I want to name this proposal so it's clear this is a change order. So I'm going to put 50 horsepower water pump and RCO1 request for. Oops, making capitals here. RCO stands for request for change order. Again, it's number 1. Okay, now a lot of this stuff pre-populates from the job. It's proposed by myself, it's submitted by myself, created by myself over here. So if you're the administrator in your Rhino, it'll show that. It asks for a project description over here. It's not required. I like to put it in, and I like to put the plans and specifications in, okay? And then how many days do I give them to accept it? Okay, so I'm going to populate that, and I'll come back on when I'm done. Okay, so I'll resume recording here, keep recording, but I put in the description, see that add power for 150 horsepower water pump. When I'm talking about quantities, it's a good form to put it in parentheses. I'm feeding 150 horsepower water pump, not 10 or 2, right? So I like to put that in parentheses like I did here, just to stand out for the quantity. Now here I have the date of the plans. You want to put the date of the plans on. If there's a separate specification sheet and it's named, you'd want to put that, but I just put that it's on the plans. Now I'm going to give them 15 days to accept it. Acceptance days is 15. Now, if I check any of these boxes, if it's union, bondable, or maybe it's a specialized company doing this, minority business entity, MBE. The proposal type also is a drop down where I can select either quotation or budget. Now I'm going to quote it, okay? I'm not giving them a budget. This is my price. If it was a budget, I'd probably go put a few more things in there just to pad the expense a little bit. But again, this populates from the job here. So it shows base job number because I created this change order estimate from the change order. It's RCO number 1. Now again, if there was a work order number, additional work authorization from my contractor, I'd put that in here. Or if there was a revision number or a contract number, I'd put those in here, okay? Now I'm just going to save this. Again, this is the beginnings of me creating a proposal. I'm going to click save to save my work. And then I just go through this menu and I create a proposal like I normally would, okay? I want to explain exactly what's included, what's excluded. I want to qualify my estimate. Now, eventually I would send this to my customer and get their approval, and then we'll talk about the approval of change orders in the project management videos. Let me pause this and I'll just finish the proposal real quick. So I just took a few minutes and created a proposal to send to the customer to get this request for change order, get this change order approved. So I'll just scroll down real slow. It has the price here, just like any other proposal. It has what's included. I actually detailed what's included. 1.5 inch conduit from MCC1 to new 3-pole 100 amp 480 volt disconnect switch. Provide 1 3-phase 100 amp disconnect switch and 1 seal tight connection from the disconnect switch to connect to the motor. I put an exclusion that the 50 horsepower pump is to be provided and mounted by others, and then I put the qualifications in. Now, you do this proposal just like you would any other. If I scroll up here, we'll see the way to learn to do this is to watch the videos. I'm going to put it on video, commercial, and then I'm going to put it down here on proposal complete. And these videos right here show you exactly how to create a proposal in Red Rhino, okay? So that's it for this video. This is how to create a change order. You have to create an estimate, a change order in the job, an estimate in the change order, and a proposal. And again, I would email this to my client in hopes of getting the work, okay? And I'll show you more on project management in a video coming up.